Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to Live Chat 109 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Great to see you. Come on in, we're talking bass guitars, bass amps, bass effects, anything to do with the world of bass guitar. So, it's just gone 8 o'clock here. It's in London town here in the UK. Hope you're all good. Welcome, Visog. Good to see you nice and early. Fabulous stuff. So, come on in. If you've got any problems with your gear, your bass, your amp, your effects pedal, maybe you're having trouble putting strings on. Maybe you're trying to build your first effects pedal board. Maybe you got your first audition coming up, playing bass. All of those things, I will try and advise you, give you as much information and a helping hand as I possibly can. If I don't know the answer to a question or a comment, I'll throw it open to the fine people that we have here on the Brooks's Bass Corner live chats, and maybe they will be able to help you instead or as well. So it's been a busy old week. Let me think, when did I see you? Tuesday. We did an impromptu live chat on Saturday at the Uncle Funk Decades of Dance show up in Bishop Stortford. Thank you very much to everyone who joined in, got involved, watched it after the event once it had uploaded. I promised you I would try whenever possible to do impromptu live chats, so I'm trying to keep to my promise as much as I can. I couldn't do it inside the venue because the Wi-Fi there was horrific, and if I had done it in there, we'd have got a load of audio bleed from the DJ, and I would have got hit with 1,000 copyright claims and copyright strikes, which is what I'm always trying to avoid, of course. So we had to hold the impromptu live chat from the inside of my car, but it just made sense. It was the way it had to be. Would have been nice to have been able to sort of show you the stage and what have you, but there is a gig vlog coming. I've been working on that the past couple of days. Let me think, what else have I got to tell you? So yeah, that was the only show I had last week. Again, this week I've only got one show, again with Uncle Funk, but this time the Disco Inferno show, which is on Saturday, private event in London. Should be great, should be a blast. Last week's one was a different thing because the Decades of Dance show, that was only our second gig, and if you've watched the impromptu live chat, you'll know. Cognitive burp. Good to see you. You haven't been on here for a while. Good to see you. We hadn't, as I'm sat in my car watching the live chat going on, I could see all the people coming into the venue, and there were more and more and more people all dressed up as though they were coming to the Disco Inferno show. They clearly didn't realise it was the Decades of Dance show, which is quite a different thing. Musically and stylistically, it was fine. I was watching them, they were all having a good time. Here's Stacey from North Carolina, thank you for popping in. And I was watching them while we were playing, and they were enjoying it as much as anyone else, so that was all cool. But it was just funny, you had all the disco crowd all turning up in their wigs and their tashes and sunglasses and cranky clothes and flares, platform shoes, the lot. And I was just looking at them going, you've not read the blurb, have you? You've just seen Uncle Funk. You've not seen that it's Decades of Dance, not Disco Inferno. But there we are. But we did the job. And there were a few little, I was about to say nerve-wracking moments. It wasn't nerve-wracking, but I could tell everyone in the band is slightly on edge with this show. So we haven't gigged it enough yet. And very often, I mean, this has always happened in any band I've played in. You can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse as much as you like. And Lord knows we did with Disco Inferno, because we were rehearsing throughout COVID when it was legally possible to do so. And leading up to the first show for that, which was July 2021, we had all the rehearsals we'd done through lockdown, and then we blitzed it again for about a month leading up to the first show, the first live show in front of an audience. And even then, you know, I was on top of what I was doing. It took a good 5 or 6 gigs before I really got into the flow of got to kick that pedal in there, and we do that sort of funny thing there in that segue, and then we do that on that medley. And after 6 gigs, it all slotted into place, and suddenly everyone felt a lot more comfortable. Decades of Dance is a funnier thing for us because we kind of created it within the space of 3 months. And if we hadn't had the first gig when we did, it would have been very hard to get the impetus and everyone sort of striving towards that date to get it done. It would have been a constant putting off situation, which you don't want. And so we did that first show, and I remember doing the first one. Everyone was totally focused on it, and it came out really well, as the live recording shows. We did a rehearsal before last Saturday's show 3 weeks ago, and everyone was on top of it. It felt fine. Yet something happened between that rehearsal and the gig, because I could tell in rehearsals everyone was a bit on edge. And I couldn't put my finger on it. Was it the arrangements? Was it the mix in their ears? Because we were on IEM, so no backline behind us. And I could see sort of everyone sort of looking around at each other, go, is this where the change is? And do we do this here? And is this a chorus? And on the show, we'd ironed out any sort of worries that people had with the songs that we ran in soundcheck. But on the show, it was very evident to me. I could still see people looking around at each other in the band going, is it this? And we've got a cue track in our ears, but I think what happened was the mix that we had at soundcheck had not necessarily changed, but once you've got a room with 200 people in all making a noise, some of the stuff in your ears is drowned out a little. So the mix that was working for you in soundcheck was fine. Now it's changed, and the sound man had so much to do. And we've also moved on to a different system where we can adjust our independent mixes. And I'm still not convinced everyone has set their mobile phones up properly with the app, so they're not able to make the quick changes that we did with the old system on our iPads. So it's fine. We'll get there. Just a couple of little things need ironing out, but generally the show went down really well. First set, we had them singing along like almost every song, and it was like, wow, okay. And everyone was going a bit nuts, and I think the venue said the bar is like one of the best takings they've ever had. So clearly everyone was having a good time. So we'll do some more of it, but we don't actually have another one of those Decades Dance shows now in the diary, I think, until August. So again, the momentum we've built up with the last rehearsal and Saturday's show now dissipates and we go back into Disco Inferno mode doing the festivals and stuff. So I'm hoping we might get a couple of festival shows for the dance show this year, but if we don't, then hopefully there'll be a lot more of it next year. Cognitive burp. Are you aware of this Giaccomo Turra scandal? Yep, certainly am. It was on the Danny Sapko channel. Yeah, I've been across it for about a week and a half since it all kind of blew up. Saw it all on Bass Chat, watched Danny's videos. Yeah, well aware of it. Not a good situation for that gentleman. Not Danny, the other guy. And it just goes to show you, people have this thing where they think, oh, well, that channel's only got 200 views on a video. No one's going to work it out that I've stolen their piece. And it's so blatant. This is the thing. That's what makes it so bad. And the fact that his apology videos were not really an apology. It's like someone said on Bass Chat, he's just sorry because he got caught out. But he was, that's the world of copyright. That's why I try and steer clear of it as much as I can. Now, I'm in the back of my head, I'm aware that people might pull me up for the the gig vlogs that I'm doing. So on those, I'm trying to be not clever. I'm trying to do it intelligently so I don't incur the wrath of copyright strikes and copyright claims. But I do need to be able to show people what's going on when we're doing gigs. So as much as possible, I leave any vocal sections out. Try not to have any singing, any choruses, any verses. Obviously, there's the playing. So on last week's gig vlog that I put up, which was number 4, which was one of the Queen shows, obviously I'm playing Queen songs. I'm not trying to con it. I certainly did not write anything in terms of music, bass line, or anything to do with those songs. I am aware that I haven't put any disclosure in the description box, so that will be something as I do more and more of the gig vlogs. I will put in who the writers were for each song. The hard thing with some of it, certainly with bands like Queen's, if I've got 10 songs in a video, you're going to run out of character space in the description box. I've had that with a couple of videos. You can end up running out of character length, character limits. So I will go back, but certainly in any of my gig vlogs, I certainly do not take any credit whatsoever for the parts as they were written, the parts as they were arranged, orchestrated, performed originally. I'm just a covers player playing those songs, and that's the only section I can really present to you. I can't present stuff with singing on or like I say, vocal melody, verse, chorus, lyric structure. I can't do it. But in terms of playing along with the band, that I can do. Or at least that's the way it seems to be with YouTube at the moment. Because when I'm uploading the gig vlogs, the copyright section that you go through is not flagging that there's an issue. So fingers crossed that will carry on. If there is a problem, YouTube will tell me immediately. And if I suddenly get copyright strikes and what have you, I'll be aware of it. But I try, and the whole purpose of this channel is to create an income for me going forward. So I don't want to put in, well, what is it now? Nearly 5 years of effort to then lose my channel because of copyright, which is why I don't generally do play alongs with songs. I don't do performance videos other than, like I said, on the gig vlogs, I'm literally giving you like 10 to 15 seconds of instrumental parts of songs. It's all I can do. Trying to pay for licensing of music is such a nightmare. I've tried to do it several times, and you just get taken around the houses by publishers, copyright companies. It's just, they don't make it easy. Perhaps at some point YouTube will get involved in this and create if you like, a central hub where you can register any music or content that clearly doesn't belong to you because it's copyrighted, and they will work out what the intellectual conundrum is. But at the moment they haven't. Steffi saying hello. Dawson, good to see you. To get to the other slide. Okay. Visog, irony is that Giaccomo is obviously talented but had to steal arrangements. Exactly that. He can clearly play, and you'd think he could probably generate something, but I don't know why he's felt the need to steal other people's arrangements, and also in some situations their performances, and taken that audio and put it straight into his video. Is it not covered under fair use? Okay, there is no such thing as fair use. If you got taken to court by a performer or someone willing to push this through a court proceeding, fair use is not legal. There is no... I've seen a million videos about this from various YouTube educators. People have assumed this topic, fair use. Someone in the early days of YouTube obviously was either a lawyer or trying to become a lawyer, and they thought they could use this thing, fair use. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist, which is why every time anyone tries to do anything with Eagles material, they get hit with a copyright strike. They know the deal. That's why Don Henley employs a whole team of solicitors and lawyers on a weekly basis, and it costs him millions, but it pulls down any content using Eagles material. There is no fair use. So anyone, I've said this before on live chats, there are a lot of bass playing musical YouTube channels, and people think they can fall under this umbrella and just say, oh, well, it's fair use. It's fair use. There is no fair use. And at some time in the future, the copyright guillotine is going to fall on content creators. And I suspect a very large amount of YouTube channels will just disappear overnight because they're going to get 3 copyright strikes, 1, 2, 3, bang, bang, bang in succession. on 3 videos on their channel, and that will be it. They'll be gone. They'll wake up the next day and the channel won't be there. So again, this is why I'm following what YouTube sets out, what they've got in place on their upload tool. So when you submit a video to upload, it's going through various checks and processes. And before you press the publish button, you wait for the copyright thing to say, yes, this is clear of copyright, or no, it isn't. If it isn't, you have to go back into your video and decide what you want to do. Do you want to take the risk, or are you going to amend it, chop out that section, take the audio out, whatever? So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment, is make sure this channel doesn't fall foul of that. Look, it'd be very tempting for me to do a Daisy Pepper and just do loads of play-alongs, and probably I would accumulate millions of views, probably, maybe not, lots of subscribers, loads of likes, comments, shares, and it would go ballistic, and suddenly I'd be a sensation on YouTube. That's why I won't do it, because I don't want to put all this time, effort, and sort of outpouring of work into a channel that I'm trying to create information and education and a place for advice and a point of reference for bass players and musicians generally, and then see it just completely wiped out through my own stupidity and lack of being aware that copyright's going to get hit. So yeah, so that's why I don't do it. So fair use doesn't exist. People that use that are living in a dream world. It doesn't exist. There are instances where you can use someone else's content and you critique it or provide content or education, or there is another use with it. But again, it hasn't been proved in court. And all it needs is one test case where a Don Henley or someone else goes nuts. For maybe if a channel started constantly using one performer's material, and if that fair use trial went the way of the copyright owner, that's it. That's the test case. That's the floodgates open. So I could go down that thing of saying fair use. I'm not going to. I get comments and emails and posts on social media regularly from people saying, can you do a play along of such and such a song? Or, you know, that song you play in that band, could you do a play? I mean, the Queen thing the other day, I had a couple of people email directly and say, oh, could you do a play along of Bohemian Rhapsody? I can't get the bass part section in the operatic section. It was like, no, I won't even go there. I just won't. It is not worth losing the channel. So there we go. Dawson, that's why the bass player crossed the road. There you go. Ah, right. That's what you're saying, to get to the other slide. Hey, he's here all week, folks. Yes, he is. Oliver Bowen, good to see you too, sir. Thank you for joining in. Good to see you. Any new bass purchases? That's to Ollie and anyone else. Anyone's got any new purchases, any new effects, any new gadgets, amps, basses? Let me know. Maybe some of you are still taking advantage of the cheap bass strings on Amazon. I thought they were only going to be on for a couple of days at the most. Seems to be they're keeping it on for a couple of weeks. In fact, let's just have a quick look, shall we? Here we go. Let's go to my shop front, shall we? Here we go. Let's have a look. See if those strings are now still going. Yeah, they are. So Funkmaster Rotor Sounds for the Mark King fans, they're still £18.90. The Rotor Sound Billy Sheehan strings, they're £19.80 instead of £23.24. They're all there. They're all there. Still deals on the Ernie balls. Some of the DR sets got £6-7 off. DR Black Beauties, yeah. Elixirs, one set has got £2 off there. The Dario sets, yep, there's a set there that's got £7 off. That one's got £8 off. Wow. Okay, and I see an Elixir set with £5 off. Some more Rotor Sound swing bass. So yeah, there still seems to be some string deals on Amazon.co.uk. So if you want to check that out, if you go in the description box below the video window, go to the link for brooksysbasscorner.co.uk on Amazon storefront, Click on that, go to string products. In fact, why don't I just put a link in here, into the live chat. So here you go, if you want an easy access link. And anything you buy on the string products section or the Brooks's Base Corner shop front, all base related, of course, will lead to a small affiliate commission for the channel, which helps to keep us ticking over. Cognitive burp. I was thinking of the new Fender Tone Master series, in particular the Bassman. Haven't got any experience of it. The hard thing at the moment for this channel is the fact that because I have a relatively low number of subscribers, manufacturers, distributors and retailers look at it as a small channel and they won't send stuff out free for review. So at the moment, I'm finding I'm having to buy everything. So I haven't tried one of those Fender Tone Masters. If I can get Fender to send one, that'd be fab. Actually, today I've spent a few hours chasing stuff on eBay for reviews and demos, and then decided I would try and contact an older contact at Yamaha here in the UK, and it then turns out the guy left about 4 years ago. So I have to go back to my original plan of buying Yamaha basses for reviews and demos, as opposed to them sending me stuff. So it's been one of those sort of days. So I have a list. I have a shopping list that I want to buy, of stuff I want to buy, that's going to get featured here on the channel. Cognitive burp. I was curious how a bass would sound through an original Bassman. I play double bass in a rockabilly band and was thinking it would suit the look. Yeah, it probably would, actually. I think you're going to just have to find a store that's selling one and go and check one out. I played some stuff at one of the bass shows, which were the models that Yolanda Charles and Chris Childs, Yolanda Charles, not Childs, Yolanda Charles and Chris Childs from Thunder. They had endorsements with Fender on those amps and cabinets. I think it was the silver front. And that would have been 2018 and 2019. That's right. They had some at London Bass Show in 2019 when Fender were there for the guitar part of the show. Really, they only had a couple of basses there, but and it was good stuff. It was good stuff. But again, if you want to put a double bass through it, unless you're going to cart your double bass to the store, it might be a bit tricky. I'll leave you to it. Report back. Let me know how you get on. Ollie, you've been trying to track down an old JD for about 2 or so years. Is it the green one that you've been posting about on Facebook? It was in a right state. It would have been a great project to take on today. I found it. I'm in contact with the owner. Excellent. Are they in the UK or are they outside the UK? I've been following your posts on Facebook regarding that green JD. I remember it coming up when it was sold, and I remember thinking, God, that looks a right old state. Some strange guy took a router to it. Yeah. Crazy what people do, really. I had God, this is a while back, 2001, so 24 years ago. Where did 24 years go? Someone sold me an old Washburn Status, and we were talking about it at a gig. I went, how much do you want? And he goes, oh, 100 quid. I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll come and get it. And then when I went to pick it up, it was this battered, stripped bass. No lacquer, no top coat. It was completely down to the wood. It had the pickups, but they weren't working properly. The controls weren't working properly. There's a big, massive sort of dent where one of the controls was. The bridge was still there. The headpiece was still there. It only had 2 strap buttons, not 3. And it was a right shambles. Didn't even have the truss rod cover. I remember getting in touch with Dawn at Status to say, oh, can I get one of these truss? She said, we have nothing to do with the Washburn models. Not anything. She said, we literally provided the hardware and the circuitry and pickups. And that was it. We don't support them. You'll have to go to Washburn. And I sat on that bass for about 6 years, and it was fretless as well. Someone had ripped the frets out, they hadn't filled it in. It was just a dog's dinner. And really, I should have said to my mate, I'm not buying that for 100 quid. But I thought it would be a project. And I sat on it for years and years. And then a mate was round here once. He said, what's that? And I explained to him what it was. And he went, you going to use it? I went, no. Do you want to buy it? And he went, yeah. He said, how much do you want for it? I said, 100 quid. He said, done. Gave me 100 quid, took it, and that was the end of that. And he got it all done up, sprayed, lacquered, new pickups, new circuit. I think he had it for a couple of years and then he sold it on. So there's some guy out there with a, how can I say this without swearing? I apologise, YouTube, in advance. A bastardised Washburn Status S1000 out there in green. And it's serving someone. It's doing gigs somewhere. So, yeah. In the end, I just couldn't be bothered doing it. I just thought, you're not going to use it. Just get rid. Ollie, yes, it is that bass. And they're in the UK. Good. There you go. As long as they don't want an extortionate amount of money for it, because if you're going to do it up and they haven't done it up, there's no point taking on projects that are going to cost you an arm and a leg, as I found out. Because I worked out at that time in 2001, you could pick up a Washburn Status for about 500 quid. Secondhand, maybe even less. In fact, it probably was less, because I remember I missed out on a Status Empathy for 495 quid in 2001 through Loot. So you might have got a Washburn Status for less than 500. And in principle, it sounded like a great purchase. And then when my mate turned up and opened up his boot and that bass was in a bin liner, I was like, oh, this doesn't sound good. Then I saw it and it was like, But I thought, oh, it's all right. I'll get it done up and it'll be fabulous. And it wasn't. Although it had an amazing fretless tone. To be fair, it had an amazing fretless tone. But I just wasn't willing to put in the amount of time, effort and money to make it decent. And as it is, it was probably the correct decision, because here we are 30 years into my professional bass career, and I've never had to play fretless on a gig or a recording ever. So it was probably the right decision. Ollie, the original seller was only 10 minutes away from you. Oh, don't you hate that? It's a fairly straightforward repair, but very time consuming. Well, there you go. It's a good project to have, eh? So have you come to a deal with this guy, or are you still negotiating? I'll wait for your reply. Oh, dogs are off. He has been shouting all day. All day. How he doesn't shout himself hoarse, I don't know. Obviously, anyone wants to join in by video, you can. You can join in live. Email me. The email ticker's running along the bottom of the screen. Email me at brooksyspacecorner@gmail.com. I'll then send you an invite when I get your email. You click on the invite and then you can come on here by video. It's as simple as that. I'm just opening a can of pop. There we go. Well done, everyone. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Cool, 10 minutes away. That would be annoying. Oh, well, I hope it all works out, Ollie. I hope you get your hands on it and let us see some pictures once. Well, the before and after is fabulous. We like those. Actually, it's going to be a video I need to put up on my channel at some point. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it as a long form or a short form. It was basically the singer from Uncle Funk, the band leader, runs like a rock school project. and they have like a bass that it's like a group bass for anyone that wants to play bass. And it's a Squire. It's an older Squire. It's not a sort of mid 80s. It's just a generic sort of late 90s, early 2000s one. And the amount of people must have had their hands on it, because the muck on this fingerboard, when he gave it to me in 2021 for a setup, clean up, spruce up, it was caked. The fingerboard was caked. You know those pictures you see of old guitar and bass fingerboards where it's literally just muck building up? It was like that. It was horrific. And I did the before and after. And afterwards, I sent him a little video because we had a gig that day. I said, here's your bass. I'm bringing it back today. I said, so if you can pay the bill, that would be great. And he went, that can't be my bass. I said, it is. He said, no, it's not. He said, it looks like it's just come out of the shop. I said, well, that's because I've done a good job. I said, and what you saw as all the imperfections were just superficial. It just needed a bit of TLC and a good cleanup. I had all the lacquer gleaming, hardware looked good, pickups. Pickups were being held up, not by foam, but by someone had placed a load of bent over business cards, and it was under both pickups. When I took the pickups out, that's what the pickups were floating on. I said, what's going on here? He said, I don't know. I just bought the bass off a guy like 20 years ago. I was like, oh, okay. I said, right, well, there's foam in there now. I've done all the lacquer. I've done the neck, done the frets. You've had a set up, new strings, the lot. I said, the whole thing plays great. So I'm bringing it back today. Pay the bill. And that was it. And it hasn't come back for any fettling since. So he must have been pleased. Ollie, no, not yet. He said he's going to get back to me. Fingers crossed he's got a reasonable price in mind. Do you know what it sold for? Did he sell it through an auction site? Or was it on Facebook Marketplace? There's Bill Derbyshire. Good evening, sir. Thank you for your posts that you were sending through to me on Messenger. You were lucky enough to win a bass on the Bass Brothers raffle last week. Excellent. What did you get? I've not caught up with that. So what did you win? Well done. Congratulations. Ollie, I've got all the original photos that were the eBay listing. Okay, so what did it sell for? Oh, in fact, I can go in and have a look, can't I? 2 seconds. Let's have a look. I've built up a listing today of Yamaha bass models and what they've been selling for over the past 6 months. So as I'm searching for them for video adventures here on the channel, I can compare and contrast prices. Oh, you did that wrong, Mike, didn't you? Sorry, just bear with me. You want sold and completed items. Right, let's see if we can find that then. Right. Maybe it's out of the range of time. Perhaps. It's not showing. Probably out of the time limit, sadly. Oh, Bill, that's nice. Sadowski Metro Express PJ. Well done, sir. Excellent. Even Visog's congratulating you. That's fab. He sold it for about 530 quid. Okay. You know what I'm going to say now, don't you? That I bought the JD Series 2 that I had in 1998 for 275 quid. Out of Loot. Before, the forerunner of Gumtree was called Loot. And there was a guy in, I think he was up near Holborn, as I recall. He had a flat near Holborn, and he was selling a JD Series 2 for 275. What I didn't know was A, the neck was horrendous, and B, he'd taken the circuitry out and kind of made some half-assed, home-built little PCB circuit. And it was only when I got home and then had a look, and I thought, oh, he has taken the circuit out and left this thing in there, which is why it didn't sound how it should. But also it was developing splits on the ebony fingerboard and splits in the body timber underneath the lacquer. It was a bass with issues. So 275 was fine. I then had an EMG circuit put in, 3-band EQ, and I sold it for about $1,000 4 years later. Different times then. JDs were not order of the day. So this bass, it was sold in 2023, so it's over the 90-day eBay limit. Used to be eBay would show you listings up to 12 months earlier. Doesn't anymore, sadly. But, well, hope you get it. Is it in a playable state? Because if it's not, you can use that to your competitive advantage, shall we call it, when you come to talking money. Because again, if he's not going to do it up, he might just want close to what he paid for it, but not actually on the figure. 275, Jealous, the original owner of mine, sold it for 50 quid in 95. Once we came out of the 80s, JDs were not fashionable at all. And once we got into grunge era and then Britpop era, mate, I can show you. I can take my pick out of any of these issues of bassist. I've got the whole set here. Let me pull a couple of magazines out. I'll tell you what they were going for. Bear me a second. Let's go. It's random, so I'm just picking an issue out. Who knows? So this is from February 1998. Stuart Zender on the cover. Right? You wait till you hear these bass prices. In the classifieds. Now, had I had the money at the time, I would probably be a millionaire by now, because I would have bought up all the Walls, JDs, Alembics, and all sorts. Right, I'll just go through here. I'll pick out the, forget the Fender stuff, because that was always commanding. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Right, JD Custom Vintage Supernatural Mark King Replica. Wide body, satin inlays, roller nut, bound neck, 1 year old. 1 year old. Cost $2,250. Offers invited. There's then a Mark King, custom Mark King bass, handmade, limited edition, immaculate, rarely played. First to see will buy, 1,200. Okay, that's back in the trend. Okay, here we go. Supernatural active bass, mid-80s, white with gold hardware. With hard case, 500 quid. What else we got? Aria Pro 2 Super Bass Sunburst. Ungigged, as new, includes small amp, gig bag and stand, 300 quid. Stingrays. Well, here you go. Oh, no, okay, they're kind of holding their price there. Music Man Stingray, 1994, Honeyburst. As new condition, fitted case, 525 quid. Overwater. Immaculate and cased, 300 quid. Sadowski there, that's not... Okay, Status 5-string. Quilted maple top. Maple through neck. With rose, okay, we're probably talking an Energy here or an Eclipse. 550. Status 3000. Bolt on neck, American cherry body with semi-flight case, 600 quid. Status Energy 4-string, natural body, graphite neck with new strings and stand, 300 quid. Stuart Spectre NS95, 5-string, 600 quid. Wall, custom fretless, ebony neck, mint condition, 795. Oh, this will make you cry. Wall Pro 2E with active EMG soap bar humbuckers. Jesus Christ. Full aluminium flight case, 450 quid. Madness. Washburn Status Series 1000 gold hardware, stunning, 350 quid. Days gone by. Unfortunately, those instruments will never be that cheap ever again, unless something seriously falls out the bottom of the market. But Bill Derbyshire, Vissog, thank you. It arrives tomorrow, so I'll be having some fun. That's why I haven't seen any pictures, obviously, because it hasn't arrived. Okay. Ollie, these prices are making me shed a tear. Think of those of us that were playing and didn't know that things were going to go up like they have. That was every month you could pick up walls for £500, £600, £700 at a push. If I pull out and let's go for another one. So let's go for an issue a bit further back, right? So we're talking sort of 94, 95, 96 in the height of Britpop. So what have we got here? June 96, perfect. The ever beautiful Tony Levin on the cover. Right then, let's see what we got here. Oh, an Alembic F1X preamp, new valve, almost new, 400 quid. Let's have a look. Oh, I see. They've lumped everything together rather than breaking it into basses and amps. What's that? If you were left-handed, a left-handed Washburn Status Series 1000. Very good condition. 120 quid. Madness. Well, here's to show you how good gear will always retain its price. Mesa Boogie 400 plus bass head, recently revalved, fully flight cased with the Boogie 1000 watt road ready cab, 1700 quid. Music Man Stingray bass, 2-band EQ, natural, maple neck, 595. Stingray bass, sunburst, pre-earnable, very good condition, 500 quid. Overwater, custom built Fusion 5-string bass, striped maple finish, immaculate condition, costs 1500 quid, will accept 650. Nuts, innit? Sadowski, oh, that's all make me an offer nonsense. Status 2000 graphite red with Status flight case, 500 quid. Oh, someone's going to cry. Music Man Stingray 79 cream with hard case. You ready for it? 350 quid. Status Eclipse 6-string blue burst 695. They'd only been out for 3-4 years at that point. Tons of Trace Elliot stuff, although back then it was worth a lot more than it is now. Here we go. Wall 5-string Wengi facing, recent service at Electric Wood with hard case, 925, or I'll swap it for a Music Man Stingray 5. Custom active 5-string Wall, Brazilian mahogany body, dual inputs, mint condition, recently serviced by Wall with Wall flight case, cost 1800 new, will accept 875. It carries on. Wall fretless pro bass, single pickup, natural wood finish, 430 quid. Warwick thumbs were still holding their value. Oh, Warwick 4-string thumb through neck, 870 quid. Mad. Mad, mad, mad. Warwick Streamer bass, Maple Wengy through neck, EMG's gold hardware, 750. Another one, 750. Bubinga thumb, Bubinga body. Then there's a thumb 5 through neck EMG pickups, 950. Oh, for a time machine and a bag of cash. Yeah, nightmare, eh? Yeah, the price of that 79 Music Man is too much to bear. 350 quid. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I pay that for 1 month of council tax. Mad. For a 79 Stingray in cream. 350 quid. Deary, deary me. But then again, you used to be able to buy a Series 2 Alembic second hand, immaculate. Literally, had only been with the owner for a couple of months. There was a guy called Frank. I can't remember. I think his name was Frank Black. And round about 1992, 93, he custom ordered a Mark King replica Series 2 Alembic, Cocobolo top, LEDs, the works, everything. Couldn't get on with it. Part exchanged it in Rock Bottom in Croydon for a red Kubicki Factor, and they sold that bass for 2,800 quid. Yeah, crazy. Now that model, custom ordered without any retailer discounts and distributor discounts and all that, you're looking upward of 60 grand. Easy, because the base model of a Series 2 without any bells and whistles is $45,000. So, yeah. Stacey, you just sent a pic of a Music Man 79 from Reverb. Okay. Have you? Which email have you sent it to, Stace? Brooks's Base Corner. Can't see it. Let me check the spam. What the hell's that? There's a load of spam in there. Bear with me a moment. Oh, this is all nonsense. It is spam. It is. It's just nonsense. Okay, that's all right then. That can all go. Yeah, your email's not... oh, have you sent it to my phone? That's what you mean. Let's just check. The lovely Mark Stickley from Bass Direct has just liked our post for today. Where have you sent that photo, Stace? Because it's not showing up. Let me do an email grab, see if it pops up. No, it's not happening. Maybe there's a delay. Maybe a delay on the emails, perhaps. Some guy, good to see you. Thank you very much for attending the impromptu live chat on Saturday. Much appreciated. Sorry that people thought it was more important to talk about my lack of hair than actually talking about basses and gigs and stuff. But there we go. We sorted them out, didn't we? My buddy got his 59 Strat in front of Joe Walsh, but he loaded off. I remember you saying, yeah. And he can afford it, of course. Yeah. Come on, Joe, play the game. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why Joe Walsh would have been like that, but there we go. BrooksySpaceCorner@gmail.com. Yeah, you can send it to that. It is. Yeah, for some reason, Stacey, it's not appearing. Oh, you've sent it to the old one. You've sent it to the 2020. Should have used the email address on ticker. It's okay. Well, look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Let me see if I can... let me open that up. That's a belter. I'd have that. I'd have that base. Image 4026. Okay, let me fire that up. Yeah. There you are. Yeah, that's about the going price. Let me see if I can share that with you fine people. There we go. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. There we go. It's a beauty. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a bit. I can. Clearly I can. And we'll just pull that down a little there. There we go. That's better. Yeah. What a cracker. In fact, let me see if I can make that. Ugh, what is going on? Fingers and thumbs today. Right. So let me see if I can do it by that screen, you fool. There we go. That might be a bit bigger for you. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Turn those off. There. That's not too shabby, is it? Not bad for a 1979 bass. It's probably been played to hell, although it doesn't look like it's been sort of overly used. So, impressive. I certainly would. That ticks all my boxes. Maple neck on a Stingray. Love the colour. It probably might not have been cream to start with. It might have been white. Says all original. It might have been white and has just gone that creamy shade through time, as white basses tend to do. Of course. Right, let's catch up with your thing. The gig went seamlessly. We had one song where the MD had swapped two medleys around with each other, and he started the cue track for what we were going to do. No, he started the track for what we were going to do after the revision, and unfortunately the keyboard player jumped in, didn't check the song list, and went on autopilot and started playing the intro to the song that had now been moved to the afterwards. So you had a track going and everyone playing along with that, and the keyboard player playing the wrong song. We worked it out after about 6 bars, and it was like, nah, go to the other one, and he was fine. But other than that, yeah, it went very well indeed. Everyone seemed to have a great time. So audience reaction was great, and yeah, reaction sort of in Bishop Stortford. Feedback to our band leader has been very good. Ollie, since we're sending photos of basses, I'll email you the pics of the poor JD. Yes, feel free. Stacey, yeah, cool. Right, that can go, and that is done. And yeah, there we are. There we go. Yes, a very fine looking Stingray there. And the bridge mute. Try and talk too quick. Bridge mutes, not bridge moots. Yeah. With the bridge mutes still in place. So all good. It is coming up to 9 o'clock here in London town, here in the UK. This is Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat 109. Tonight we've done 109 of these. They're all available still if you wish to look at them. Watch any of them. You might get some nuggets of bass advice and bass info. They're all there on the YouTube channel under the live chat playlist. Feel free to check any of them out if you wish. My advice is, if you do want to watch any of the old live chats, when you're watching them, put the playback speed on 2, and basically it will play them twice as fast. You can still hear all the chat, just goes by a little quicker, and it's a much easier and time effective way of watching. The other way is to go in the description box, look at the timestamps, and then sort of zip through to the things you do or don't want to see, and that works pretty well. Gareth Harrison, good to see you, sir. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing good. I would say on a lovely Tuesday, but it hasn't been lovely. It's been raining most of the day, and temperature's been up and down like a tart straws. So, yeah, not summer yet, that's for sure. Just checking everything. Check the stream health. That's okay. That's all fine. That's fine. Stream health is excellent. Good. And I'm very pleased to report that in 2 weeks' time, we're having a broadband upgrade here at Brooks Towers. And we're going to be running, I think it's a download speed suggested of 900 meg and an upload speed of, I can tell you because I've got the figures from BT right here in front of me. An upload speed of 110. So basically, months ago and last year's live chats, when we used to have Lego and Minecraft live chats that were all blocky, it's because our upload speed, because we were kind of hindered by the technology in our lane where we live. They hadn't updated the broadband in ages. Our upload was not very good. The download speed was about 25 meg, so the upload speed couldn't have been more than about 10. But we'll be on 900 meg download and 110 upload. So hopefully the quality in terms of the visual and sound on these live chats will improve in about 2 weeks' time. So I'll let you know when it's gone in. You can tell me if it looks better or not. Jerry Blair, good to see you. I can see you there. Ollie, you think you've sent it twice? Right, let me check. Why have I got why's my video editor open? That can shut down for a start. Right, let's have a look. Here we go. Yeah, I got them. Cool. Yeah. Right. Oh, 12 attachments. Okay. Right. Let me save all of these. And then we can sort of zoom through them all. Let's give them their own little folder. Okay, right. Mr. Pink Baseman, I can see you there. I'm going to bring in the screen in a moment. Just bear me a moment. Right, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here we go. Just thinking about it. Why am I not seeing that? No, preview pane is on. Oh, I see it's pulling them over. Just bear me a minute, gang. So I can see the images in the email, but they're really small. So just bear me a minute. It's doing stuff. Christ, what did they do to the nut? That's mad. Hang on a minute. That hasn't got a JD logo on the headstock. So if it was a custom order, they maybe asked for it not to be on there. Right, I'll try and share from this. I'm going to add you. Hold on. Headphones would be good. There he is.
Here I am.
Let's right. We've got Ollie's tracked down the green JD.
Oh yes.
Let's just share. I'm going to try and share the screen, but the image might not be that big, so just bear with me.
I told Ollie a story about a gold one that I saw. Oh yes, that one.
That one. Very hard for everyone to see that sort of up close, but anyway.
I could do something with that.
I'm sure. But I'm wondering why it hasn't got a JD logo on the headstock.
For the same reason that Ollie's didn't have one either.
Which is?
Somebody sanded it off when they refinished it or refurbed it. Because it's just a decal, you know.
Does it sit on top of the lacquer?
Yes.
No, it'd be underneath the lacquer.
Well, they put the logo on and then they lacquer over the top of it, so it's got a layer underneath, then the logo, then the lacquer from the way I
Right, okay, right. So if they sanded that top layer off.
Right. So then once it's off, it's gone.
Got it.
Right.
Right, I'll put that up for people and they'll be thinking, what the hell is he talking about?
Right.
There we go. Right. Stop that one, and I want to present that. And
I could do some jubbly with that green one.
It's a nice. I like green bases. I have no
I do too, actually. Bases. But it's got a See,
some shades work better than others, but
that's true.
Yeah. So just weird, and the whole truss rod cover as well. I don't know what's going on there.
They probably
the nuts completely cannibalized.
Yeah, it once was a complete JD. Now it's a 50% JD.
I wouldn't understand why you'd sand the logo off. That just seems crazy.
Well, again,
you know what it is. Someone's tried to turn it into a Warwick. That's why you've got the angled tuners and oh dear, oh deer.
There's a fretless.
Some people, hey.
Right. There's a fretless in France right now that's on reverb. That's been on reverb for a long time. It had a neck break and they repaired it, but they overlaid walnut wings on the body or something of that sort. It doesn't have the headstock logo either, nor does it have a logo on the back.
Mm.
So it's just somebody just kind of shaved it off.
Probably these things tend to happen during periods when a brand isn't particularly fashionable. So it probably happened during the 90s, like I'm saying, during grunge, during Britpop. You
Probably.
know, the high values of JDs had dropped. So someone probably thought, well, it's not going to be worth as much as the brand I want, so I'll just do whatever I like to it. Now, now you'll see the error of your ways because you could have had a lot more money. Jerry
Yes.
Blair, good to see you. How was my gig on Saturday? It was good. It was good. It's, as I said earlier, it's a little, it's still a bit of a work in progress because we've only done 2 gigs with it, and with gigs comes confidence. And when you're doing a new project, the first couple of shows, gig 1, you're flying by the seat of your pants. Gig 2,
Ants.
is that how I played it on the first one? Gig 3, you start kind of, okay, I've done this before. By the time you get to gig 5, gig 6, it should start sitting. But we've only done 2 shows. So the next one isn't till August. So we've said we're going to do a bit more of a build up rehearsal wise when that show's sort of approaching. But it was good. It was good fun. The crowd all had a great time. Gareth Harrison, I had to call the RAC on the way back from my gig on Sunday. Oh yes, you were depping, weren't you, with the country band? The gear linkage cable, oh dear, went on a dual carriageway, and had to get the police to tow me to a safe place before the RAC could come out. Mate, I feel for you.
Mm-hmm.
Car woes on a gig journey. Yeah, it's not, doesn't, I hope this was on the way. Oh, it was on the way back. So you got to the gig, did a blinding gig, and then this happened on the way. At least it wasn't on the way before the show, because your head would have been shot then.
Indeed.
Paul Ruthven sent me a couple of JD logos for my bass. Very good. Very good.
He's
And say again?
he's a good lad.
I've never met him. I've heard his name on many, many occasions, but we've never met.
We've had a
Uh,
little natter here and there, you know.
okay. Ollie, in the right hands, mine or James' hands, that JD can be fixed up. Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Most basses can be fixed up. It's only ones with severely temperamental timbers in the neck that in the end you kind of have to think, is this actually going to be worth it? But thankfully I've not had many of them. I've only had 2. One was a busted truss rod in a Squire Mike Dern, and in the end I just couldn't be bothered with it, and someone wanted it desperately. They bought it off me, put a new truss rod in, and it was good as new.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way it goes. I bought the bass as a backup for when I was doing the Green Day shows, and then about 2 months later I stopped doing Green Day shows, and I haven't done another one since. So that backup bass was totally pointless. I didn't need it, so I had no concerns about shifting it on.
I got one like
And
that.
have you?
Oh yeah, it's pointy.
Ah, yeah.
I purchased it specifically for a metal gig that I was supposed to play this summer, and they got canceled. So it's like, well,
Ah,
time to send it along.
that's it. Those things, they do happen. It's with the best of intentions. You think, right, I'm just going to get things covered and in place, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen. It's like, well, it's a bass that's just sat here. It's not going to get used. Patrick, good to see you. Evening, Mike. Evening, Jamie, and fellow lords and ladies.
Other
I'll
low
have
end.
you know, countesses, a few duchesses maybe as well.
Mhm.
Ollie, I recently fitted a new truss rod in one of my old basses, right pain. They can be, it just depends on the design.
Right.
Depends what the manufacturer does. Warwicks are well known for it, earlier Warwicks, where the aluminium truss rod just snaps.
Uh-huh.
And Warwicks being Warwicks, especially if they're through neck, that's a lot of temperamental, twisty, turny wood you got in there, and it can be a nightmare. And it's how long from that happening can you get it to someone to get it fixed, because the longer you leave that wood without any tension apart from the strings, it's just going to get itself into a right old tizzy, at which point you then might have to
Shift it.
move the bass on. Yeah,
Shift
I've
it.
seen and heard of too many for it to be a chance thing. And I think earlier Warwick sort of through the 80s, early 90s models. Kind of renowned for it now. And I can't remember, I could be wrong here, but I think at some point Warwick said if you have one dating back to a certain period, if you send it to us, we'll repair the truss rod or replace. I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on that, anyone. I'm not saying that is a definite thing, but I think at some point there was or it might have been through a UK distributor, that if rather than them have to deal with that problem, if the owner of the base contacted the distributor, they could arrange for it to be shipped to Germany or to a local UK repair place, which at that time would have been the base centre, and they would sort it. But we don't even have a Warwick distributor in the UK anymore, so
Well,
here we are. Gareth Harrison, even worse with dual truss rods on Rickenbackers. Well, here's your man.
oh, the Rickies are
There's
a
a
whole
conversation for you both. I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Say your piece. Rickenbacker dual truss rods. Dave's World of Fun Stuff will contribute to that conversation. Happily. We've lost Jamie for a second. There he is. He's back. I'm just checking the Champions League score, actually. Villa 2-2 with PSG, which means PSG are 5-3 up. I think Villa are going out unless they can turn this around rapidly. Borussia Dortmund have scored 2 goals against Barcelona, which makes that 4-2 as well. It's all going on. Here we are. Bring you back on.
You disappeared all of a sudden. Literally, my screen.
Did you put 50p in the generator?
No, I got the pedals down below and I'm doing this.
Ah, right. Steam driven. Right. Okay. Dynamo, even. Yeah.
Well, Zeppelin.
Yeah. Gareth, a guitarist I know is a Ricky 12 string, which is a pain to set up.
Yes.
That has its moments.
Yes. Oh, pains to set up. Just a moment. Just a moment. Pain to set up.
There we are.
Yes, indeed.
So what's the problem with that? Dodgy neck again?
Well, that's actually the next string.
There's the issue.
So the problem is I don't really believe they designed these necks to accommodate all that tension. And it'll adjust and it'll flatten out. It's got rotos on it right now, but they're just...
So what gauge do you...
It came to me
with...
with...
They do a specific set for 8-string? I can't remember.
I really don't know, because it came to me with the strings on it, and honestly, it feels... They're kind of bouncy, as though it could be like a 40 to 95 kind of setup with the octave strings and whatnot. But it's just, it needs something.
Okay.
So it sits
on the Proto Sound site, see what they do.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't really know. Obviously, it doesn't get out much.
Yeah. Does it, they are rotor sounds on it, yeah?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, well, on their current website, there's no mention of 8-string sets, but I would imagine they would produce a custom gauge if you needed it.
And that's probably what happened here, because these are not thick strings. I'm guessing 40 to 95 just on the regular. I could be wrong.
It might be. There is a set of swing bass which is 20, 30, 35, 45, and then a 45, 65, 80, 105. It's probably a set of them. Rough price on those at the moment, 50 quid.
Of course.
DV247 do them for 42. For anyone that needs that nugget of information.
There you go. So Gareth is speaking about ricks. Setting up a rick is really actually very simple if you know how to do it. I know off camera, but there's 5 of them sitting over there. Right. Okay. So, and I've had 170 others sitting here, so they're not that difficult. You just have to know how to bend it.
You should do a couple of videos on your channel.
That might be something I do in the future, yeah.
Funky R, is that Mr. It's not Mark Palmer, is it? No. Good evening. Just sent 2 pics of the last base I built. If you're interested, absolutely. Let's have a
Let's
look.
see.
Let's see. It's Rob Steen. Rob, you diamond. Fabulous. Let's have a look. I'm just going to save those attachments, so just bear with me.
So while you're doing that, did Ollie say that he's trying to purchase the green base, or he just found it?
He's found the guy that's got it, and he's entered into negotiations.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's have a look at that, Rob. I don't care what it opens with, just open it. There we are. Well, that's kind of nice. I'll share that with the team. Let's have a little look.
Have a go.
There we go. Let me get rid of Gareth's. I love my banners. There we go. Nice work, Rob.
Looks nice.
Very nice. PJ, what's the controls doing? Are we talking passive or active here? I'm just going to rattle through the messages there. Right, so that's Patrick Sweeney. I know you did a demo of an Anaconda base recently. I've done lots. And you liked it. Yeah, the guy that depths for me uses a 5-string Anaconda. Cool. And you're interested in possibly purchasing one. Okay, you need to speak to Andrew at Anaconda Bases. He's the guy that builds them. If it's an Essence base, which is the cheaper range, they're made in China, but they come back to... in fact, it might have moved to Korea, actually, I think now. Can't remember. Anyway, speak to him. They come back to him, and then he does the final setting up and tweaking and everything else. If you want a custom-made, more expensive one, then they're made in his workshop. He's based near Palmer's Green, North London. If you're after one of the cheaper models and you look at the price and you think, a little bit pricey, occasionally he does discount sales, so you need to keep checking on the website, and you might get lucky with a cheap one or cheaper one. But I can highly recommend them, Patrick. Really good. Really good. Whether it's the expensive ones or the Essence range. The Essence range are great. Seriously hot jazz bass. And then the custom models. Money and budget are your only boundaries, really. He can do whatever you want. Gareth, make a regular set and a piccolo set. That's for the 8-string. So Rob, active EMGs, 2 volumes and a tone. Fab. Super. Well done, you. Very nice indeed.
Good one.
And there's a picture of the back as well, so I'll show that. I'll open that up. So we'll stop that, and then I will share the view of the tradesman's. Here we go. Yeah, some nice timber there, Rob. Yeah, very nice.
Yep, looks good.
Not sure about the headstock design at the moment, but it's very hard to come up with original headstock shapes without entering the realms of copyright. So, yeah, nice. Good for you, sir.
Yep, well done.
Is it me or has the audio gone? Not that I'm aware. Ollie says he's still got the audio.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, everyone else, I can hear you, and yeah, it must be your end, Rob, I think, and he can't hear what I'm saying. So, right. There we go. Right. So what's the news across the pond? What's occurring? What's been going on? What you been up to?
we just had a lamb vindaloo.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because we're still mid-afternoon.
You're a crazy kind of guy. That's
indeed. Well, tomorrow is going to be the nuclear chicken curry assault. Yes.
One of those, the one that takes the skin off your face.
And the one that takes the hair off your head, you know.
That too.
The
You'll be
rhyme.
safe there then.
I have no trouble. It just kind of comes this way. It's all good. So other than that, let's see. I have to do the temperature comparisons again, but currently it's 66 Fahrenheit.
66, did you say?
66. Yes.
66. Very good.
Yep.
Excellent.
66 Fahrenheit. So it's nice and it's windy, which is nice because everything is
Well, I'm
sunny.
not surprised where you've been. So,
Right.
oh, I have an incoming purchase Monday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Do I think I know what
Yes.
is coming from
Yes,
some?
you do know what that is. Yes. Yes.
Lovely.
It'll be here. There'll be a new addition to the Brood next Tuesday's live chat.
Perfect.
Very
Well,
special.
I'm shooting for either August or September, depending on when that date is set, you know.
Yep. Yep.
So maybe we should talk about just a little snippet of that for the guys and gals who don't know. I'm planning on coming across the pond somewhere at the end of August or 1st of September, and the Lord of the Manor here and I are talking about having a group curry and a group bass player
Yeah.
hang. So
We'll try and round people up.
indeed, you know, because a group curry is one of those things.
Absolutely. It's dictated to by the late great Nick Smith's sister, who's
Yes,
trying to
indeed.
arrange a memorial gig show remembrance kind of happy event to celebrate Nick's life, and she's kind of earmarked September, but it could be late August, but I don't know what is determining the venue or the date or the time or anything else. So at the moment we're all just kind of on tenterhooks waiting for her and her family to decide what they want to do and when. For all I know, it could end up getting pushed back into next year. We just don't know. So rather than put pressure on them with a million musicians all going, well, we need to know, because we might be booked, they just have to do it at their own pace and at their own time. So that will eventually get announced, and I'll announce it on here as well. And my young compatriot here will hopefully be attending. So, but at the moment it makes buying flights and everything else a bit difficult, because in order to get cheap flights and cheap hotels, you need to buy well in advance. And at the moment we're running out of time. So we will see how it all pans out.
Yes, indeed. So that means for Ollie's benefit, that means we have to make a, shall we say, a pilgrimage to Brum.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Where are you based, Ollie? So just, there's going to be a million JD fans who know Jamie that will want to do meetups and what have you, but where are you based, Ollie? So I'm just flicking through the messages here. Gareth Harrison, no more entry-level guitars because of tariffs in the States, but let's not get political. Good man.
Have a curry.
Ollie, I'm building a bass at the moment as well. I live near a river and I found an old slab of ash that had come from an old boat wreck. Okay, so that's going to be the body timber. Good. Make sure it's seasoned first. Don't start building it and then the moisture's still in it and it starts all doing this. And okay, I wanted to know something about a bass brand. I don't remember which one. I was about to message Nick Smith. You're based in Windsor. Okay, well, I'm near Uxbridge. I'm very close to junction 16 of the M25 where the M40 crosses over. So yeah, you're not far away. Okay. Yes. If you know what bass brand, ask Jamie. Chances are he and Nick will have talked about whatever that bass brand is. So try Jamie now if you want.
Right. Throw it up here. I can answer it if I know it. So I'm told that Soho, or Aston anyway, is probably the spot if we're going to talk about curry. So we have to go to Brum.
Soho?
Now, somebody said something about Soho for curry, and I'm like,
I don't. Southall?
I heard that one as well.
Southall's where, well, very close to where I used to live. So it's an Indian hub, very much. And in fact, one of the guys that lives just down the road has a very nice house. He's always said to me, "Oh, you should come to my my restaurant." I said, "Where's your restaurant?" He said, "Southall." I said, "Oh, which one?" He said, "Well, I have 10."
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. Well, which one then? And I've never done it.
Yeah.
More's
Well,
the pity. But
you never know what might happen when strange pink guys come across.
well, there you go.
Yes.
Gareth Harrison saying Solihull, which is again is part of Birmingham, sort of northeast
Right. Okay.
Birmingham area. So there's lots of that. I mean, there's also Brick Lane, East London. There are sections. Wembley's a big Indian area as well. So there's plenty of places to cater for your needs. Don't you worry. Yeah, Ollie, what brand are we talking here then? Let us know and we'll try and help you out here.
Try and explain. Yes.
So I should also apologise to everyone. The voice sounds a bit lacking in power and definition. I've been fighting hay fever for a week. We've had like a bit of a pollen bomb over the southeast of the UK, and it's totally dried out my sinuses and my throat. And I've been taking hay fever tablets and everything else, trying to flush it through with loads of water, but it hasn't changed. So I'm hoping now we've had some rain over the next couple of days, we have a bit more rain. It will clear the air. Things will get back to normal. Ollie, to be honest, I don't remember what the question was, to be honest. I think it was something about a Westone Thunder 1A. And
Ah.
that probably would have been a good point of reference there, because he knew a lot about the Westones in the areas from the 70s and 80s.
If I told you how much you can purchase a Westone over here for, you'll laugh.
Yeah, and the thing is, most of them were made exactly on the same production line as the area, Matsumoku, and
Right.
Westone very often have got made by Matsumoku.
Mm-hmm.
Stickers on the back and whatever. Gareth, Rusholme in Manchester is famous for its curry mile. Well, you
Okay.
never know. May venture up that way. We'll see. We'll see.
Anything
There will
possible?
be lots of base adventures, but we can't do anything until we know when this young man's coming over.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I'm just wondering what you wanted to know about a Westone Thunder 1A. So like I say, a lot of Westone instruments were made on the exact same production line as the Arias, the SB series,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. And I don't know what distinguishes them. I'm guessing the timber and the actual construction is probably going to be very similar. I'm guessing the Westones just had poorer electronics and pickups in.
They
But
also
I don't know. I've never had two to compare. So, sorry,
they
what did you say?
painted the necks black on a lot of those Westones, especially in the 80s.
Right.
The 1A would have either been a precision pickup or a humbucker right at the intersection. You're going to laugh when I say this, but I could pick up one of those right now to translate it for about 25 quid.
Well, you should, because there's a lot of players over here trying to buy them.
Well,
If
you
you
know,
watch them on
I've
eBay.co.uk, every time one goes up,
I have
loads
actually
of views.
prepared a special case to come across. It'll carry two.
Ah, very
With,
good.
so if we get into something jubbly, I can arrange to have one or two sorted, and they come across on the big bird with me.
Gareth Harrison, I own a Westone Thunder fretless. And
Yeah.
tell us more. How does it sound? How does it play? Ollie, I think it was how the active on-off switch was wired. Okay, well, the Arias all went through a whole load of different setups regarding that. So for a period, the Aria super basses had an on-off active-passive switch. But then on the SB1000, it's not so much active-passive, it's bringing the noise killer circuit, which is a six-position mid selector, frequency selector. That's what the switch was for. But people always go, oh, well, it's an active-passive switch. It's not. The switch brings that circuit into play, or it doesn't, which some people would argue, well, that's active-passive. But it's not. It's not the same thing. And then they had the LED was on or off, and then it went to the blinking on and off. So when you turned it on, it would blink and pulse. The problem with that is, as I found out on my one, was you're doing a gig or a recording, and you turn that thing on, and you then hear it pulsing through the recording, going like a metronome. So you then have to decide, are you going to leave it as is, or are you going to have it reverted back to an on-off, which is exactly what I did. I can't be standing there in the middle of a wedding and hearing this thing going k, 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 through the amp. What's that all about? But then you still get models and you pick them up. People who've just played at home all their lives, a pulsing LED and the sound it makes isn't going to cause them a problem. So they've left it as is. So there are still examples with that out there, which is why on fan groups, social media pages regarding Arias, people go, has it got a pulsing LED or not? That's what they're referring to. And I would imagine some of that passed over into the Westone bases as well.
Mm.
Because it would be a production line, pretty much like a car. They'll have a load of bases in terms of carcasses, and then there'll be another line which has got the pickups and another line that's got the circuits, and they will all just be shunted into the respective instruments.
That's how they did Fender.
Mass produce. It's a Japanese exact production line. It's exactly the same.
Right.
So this is why a lot of the Westone stuff, for years, people looked down on them like some cheap, like budget brand. But what they didn't realize at the time was these were being made in the same factory. So I wonder if there are a lot of Westones out there which are basically Aria SB bases, but with a different name on the headstock. I don't know. I can't prove it, but
the woods are very similar, because if you notice a couple of them that have the very strongly figured ash bodies, they resemble the dark stain of the SB1000 or even the SB600 just because of the body wood.
Yeah.
And they still have the same kind of maple and walnut stringers going through the middle and all that stuff. So
all of them. Yeah. I don't know if I've even ever seen a bolt on Westone, to be honest.
I have. Yeah, there's a bunch of those are
maybe that's the major discerning thing. So maybe the more expensive versions were the through necks and the bolt-ons were the cheaper ones, hence the cheaper price tag, maybe.
Could be. I know the most of the bolt-ons that I have seen have had the black painted neck, kind of like the 84, 85 Japanese Fenders where the neck was black and the headstock was black. And they all came from the same spot, really.
Yeah. Gareth, yours is the Westone 1, which is passive, and the 1A is active. Makes sense. And yours is Bolton.
Roadie 1, Roadie 2A, Roadie 1A. Okay.
Yeah.
We translated that to JD speak.
That's it.
Oh, yes.
That's it. So, here we are. Oh, by the way, I had the guy that was asking about that 68p bass in Candy Apple Red at the show came back to me. He tried to get in touch with the guy via his Instagram profile. The guy hasn't responded, replied, nothing. So clearly he's not that contactable. And the guy said to me, have you got any other contact detail? I said, no, but why don't you get in touch with the guy that runs Amigo guitar shows, and here's his email address. I'm sure he's got contact details, because the guy with the bass will have had to have paid him money to have his stand. So I'm sure he'll be able to put you in touch. So I haven't heard back yet, but I'm hoping that will have solved that man's dilemma.
That was an interesting bass, that one. I've had my hands on hundreds, if not thousands, of old Fender basses. And it's ironic when you get into something, and I know you and I have talked about this a lot, and I'm only just going to touch this for a moment. When you play something that you really like and you get used to it, and then you go to something that everybody's going over, it loses something in the translation, for me anyway. Because I plunked along on that thing, and I mean, for what it is, it's nice. It's a 64 Candy Apple Red faded, blah blah blah. But I'll put my attitude up against it any time, and the attitude will win for me. Of course. Just because it's the way it is.
Dawson, do I have any stories from my Oasis tribute band? What are you digging for, Dawson? Tell me what you want to know. I've actually got some. Yeah, I've got some gigs coming up with them shortly. God, I'm trying to remember. Let me just quickly have a look at my online diary. There's one, I think, on the one in late May. Let me see. Here we go. There's one in late May, and then I've got another one mid-June. So I would assume they're festival shows, but I could be wrong. What do you want to know, Dawson? 'Cause You tell me. Do I have any stories? There's not a lot to tell with that band. They're kind of they're very very busy band. They don't just do Oasis. They do Stone Roses. So you got Oasis, Stone Roses. They do a Paul Weller tribute. They do a Police tribute. And then they also have like a general covers function band. So they have sort of 5 bites of the apple. And they do a Oasis duo as well. So they're constantly busy and they're very, very hectic this year. And I know on the week where it was leading up to them announcing the Oasis Get Back Together and tour dates and stuff, I contacted the band leader on the day that the Oasis tickets went on. And I said, I bet you've been busy today. He said, I've taken more than 25 gigs today in a single day for next year. I was like, fab. I mean, how good is that?
Mm-hmm.
But you sent me a picture of your Westone. Right, let's have a little look, shall we?
Oh, look, yep.
That's the fella. Come on, give me the option. There we go. Thank you. Here we go. Get rid of that for a second. And we'll get rid of that. There we are.
Oh, yes. Yes. I have seen many of those. That's what I was referring to with the wood grain. If you notice that and look at the aria on how the wood is, and especially the through neck section, it's identical other than the cuts on the body wings.
Yeah, I can see there's some grain where the strap goes over the top horn, but other than that, I mean, this was the thing always with Westones. They tended to have like the lesser cuts of the wood.
Right.
So Aria would get like the pick of the bunch and Westone would get the others. But then look at the Westone headstock. If that's not saying to you, we're made on the same production line as Aria, I don't know what is.
Right.
Not sure about the bridge either. Were they simplified? Hang on, let's have a little look here. I'm just scrolling down through the picture. No, so they're Aria bridges, I think.
Looks
very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar. I'm guessing. No, I think the ball end goes through the back plate, doesn't it? Like standard bridge. So it's not quite the same, as opposed to on the Aries you had the sunken ball ends into the actual bridge.
Mm-hmm.
These are just held at the back like a standard bridge. Okie dokes.
Looks good though.
How about that? Look, I can scroll along the picture and you can see it as I'm scrolling it.
How about that?
There we are.
Yep. Almost
Beautiful
they do
thing.
the headstock almost like the bat wing on the old Arias.
Yeah.
Almost.
Very good, Gaz. Well done.
Yep. Lovely.
Very good. Right, Dawson. I like Oasis. I've seen Noel Gallagher. That's all. Okay. There's Uncle Funk, Decades of Dance, Queen Tributes, the Oasis Tribute Band, and ABBA bands, and general covers, and the YouTube channel. Yeah, there's plenty to keep me busy. Don't worry about that. I don't get many days off. I don't get any days off, frankly. I haven't had a holiday since 2003. So, but there we are. Yeah, I'm trying to think what stories. No, they tend to keep themselves to themselves. They kind of, that band, those guys, they just work relentlessly, and there's nothing really to tell. I only see them when I'm on gigs. The only time I hear from them is when they're saying to me, "Are you available for a gig?" Then I hear nothing until about 4 days before the show, and then I get the set list and any new additions. If there's anything in the set that I haven't played before, they send me the live version and click track for the backing, which has got, if it's got keys or an extra guitar on it. And that's about it. And then it's just a case of turn up, do the gig. There's not a lot of hanging around. They're quite efficient. They literally turn up. Well, if they're told to turn up for a sound check 3 hours before, then fair enough. But sometimes they don't even bother with the sound check because they know how they're going to sound. It's all, most gigs, there's not a lot there. It's drums, guitar, bass, and vocal, and the track, if it's got keys or an extra guitar on it. And And that's it. Like last two gigs I did with them last year, the one in the summer was a kind of festival-y thing. We got there about an hour before we went on, did a 20-minute sound check, went off, got changed, on stage, do the gig, came off. Backline was all supplied, so it was just bass and tuner pedal, straight in the bag and head off home. And that was it. And I think they were doing a Police set later that evening, so they stayed. And then when I did a gig with them in December, which was my last gig before Christmas, I think it was turn up at 4 o'clock. We did sound check. We were done by 6, then eat, got changed, did the gig, packed up and went home. There's not a lot of hanging on those sort of gigs, really, to be fair. You just sort of turn up, do what you got to do, get through the set, and time to go home.
Yep.
Dawson, so there's no drama between the Noel and Liam tribute twins. No, they've worked together now, I guess, for about 15 years or so, and they get on very well. Sometimes they do a bit of arguing, which is just for effect on stage, but no, the band leader runs a fairly tight ship. This actual Oasis tribute has been around since 1995, I think. And he's the last remaining original member from the original setup in 95. So he's kept it going and he runs it like a business, and he's, he doesn't put up with a lot of rubbish and mucking about. And he's an older gent. He's a bit older than me. And but he does it really well, and good bass player. He does the Sting thing in their Police tribute. So they tend not to do a huge amount of gigs where they've got Oasis and Police or Stone Roses and Police, because the bass player's got nothing to do. He's got to sit in the back of the van. He's not getting paid for that. But the front man, the main band leader, he's very good, very good.
Oh.
And but it's all right. It's yeah. Yeah, it just there's no real stories to tell with that band. I mean, I spent at the tail end of 2018 when their bass player died, and I covered their tour for 8 weeks, and spent a lot of time actually staying at the guitarist's house, because a lot of their gigs were up north. Made no sense for me to come back to London and then go back and back, racking up fuel costs. So there were periods where I'd have like 3-4 days on the bounce. We'd do a gig, go back to his, do a gig, go back to his, and it was like that. But again, he's got things to do during the day. He's got music lessons that he teaches and stuff like that. And so it was just, you just get into a flow. But there's not a lot, not a lot really to go on, really. Yes, sir.
I say something.
Yes.
If you look in your DMs on the Book of Face, I sent you something.
Yes. Ah.
Have a look.
Good job I didn't log out then, wouldn't it?
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at the dosh.
Just clicked on it. This is over your way, $350, so we're looking at about $275.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How much did you pay for yours, Gareth?
And then look at this while you're out waiting for Gareth. Take a look at this.
Westbury Track 4. What the hell? Oh, made by Matsumoku. What the hell is that?
Right. Look at the head
take on a Gibson.
Mm-hmm. Look at the headstock and everything.
Yeah, very close.
Mm-hmm. Same factory.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not worth $1,000. Good to know.
People will buy it for the look, won't they?
It's been hanging around for a while. There's another one that's just a single P pickup, and it's $400. So that person.
So is Westbury like another subsidiary of Westone, of Aria, of
Matsumoto?
Yeah.
Yes. They're all made in the same place in Japan, and then they tack a name on it depending on who wanted it to say this. It could say, Brooks Inc.,
Mm.
or Brooks ESQ, and it could just
Got
look
it.
like, you know,
Yeah, the grain on that Westone's good. That's so area.
very much.
So area. They clearly had like some offcuts and just thought, oh, we'll slap that on there and charge a little bit extra.
Right. And you notice it's a bolt-on as well, so it's probably just like Gareth's.
Mm. Yeah. There's a lot of them about. They go through
What
phases of popularity. And some of the more expensive models, like that, is there a Thunder? I can't remember. Is it a 3A?
could be?
Just see if what Wikipedia throws. There's a 1, the 1A, right?
Hmm.
Oh, here we go. Westone guitars. Wonder if they've got like a full list. Oh, here we go. 7 models of Thunder basses. There's the 1 and the 1A. Very good.
Yep.
And then there's a version 2 of the 1A, which looks like it's the one with the fancier grain and
Hmm.
also solid color finishes. So there's a picture of a white one with gold hardware sold by the Bass Center. And then there's a version 3 of the 1A, which has the
Hmm.
humbucker pickup, solid red. Then you get the version 1. Oh, I see. So there's more differences. There was a version 1 has an XLR connector. There's only one other known version of the Thunder 2 with an XLR. It's got 3 brass plates on the back and twin split coil pickups. So there is a version 1 that has 2 split coils, and that's the one with 3 controls and 3 switches. Then you go to the
Right.
Thunder 2, which has a split coil and a single coil. Thunder 2 version 3 from 1983, which is 2 single coils and does away with the switches.
Hmm.
Thunder 2 fretless. Then the version 2 Thunder 2 fretless. Another Thunder 2 fretless, the version 3. It seems to be built on years. So like the Thunder 3 came out in 83, the Thunder 2 came out in 82.
There you go.
And then there's a version 2 of the Thunder 3, which has twin humbuckers, pickup selector, 3-way control, and 2 switches. Now, yeah, now you start seeing like the darker, is that walnut or cocobolo? Ebony boards,
Probably
maple and
won't.
walnut stringers. Yeah, and then there's something called the Thunder Jet, which is all black, one split coil pickup from 84.
Right. And they became Electra Westone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you started to see the necks painted black with 4 on the side tuners and that kind of dodgy
That's it.
looking little headstock that said Westone in red letters on the front of it.
Yeah.
Those also 50 quid.
Yeah. Gareth, didn't pay a penny for mine. Someone was going to throw it in a skip. I remember you saying this, as it had been dropped and the pots pushed through the body. So I fixed that with a washer on either side. Good man. There you go.
Good man. Well done.
Patrick Sweeney, there's a Westone Thunder 3A going for 1,500 quid on eBay.
I bet I can do better than that.
Oh, I bet you can. Some
So yeah.
canny shopping required there.
Well, just get yours in before I fly.
Ollie, every Japanese instrument I've tried has been fantastic. For a very long period in the 70s, 80s, probably through to the early 90s, they were seriously on it. That's why, partly led by the fact that US Fender stuff was so bad, and that
Yes.
made people reappraise where they were going to spend their money. And also the Japanese companies were seriously taking on the active circuitry thing. Fender didn't really want much to do with that apart from the Precision Special 81.
Which was lovely.
Yeah. But other than that, Fender didn't really go down the active route, and people wanted active electronics for slapping and all of that sort of thing. So the Japanese companies, so you had Ibanez, Yamaha, Aria, swept the board. and you would see that product in the stores, and it was not all of it was cheap, but it was a exceptional value for money. And now look at some of the early Yamahas, which to all intents and purposes is just a very heavy, boisterous P bass in some respects, some of them, and they command huge amounts of money because they sounded like nothing else, and to a certain degree have never been bettered. Thank you. There you go. Perfect example. Ollie, your Vox Standard is great. I also have an old Japanese Les Paul 1. Les Paul I got at a car boot sale for 40 quid. These things happen.
All the time.
These things happen.
All the time.
That's it. I can't say I've ever found anything like that at a car boot sale, but I tend not to go to too many car boot sales. But I have had some excellent purchases over the years. I was talking to my former editor at the magazine yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, or was it Sunday? Anyway, we're talking about Billy Sheehan.
Mm.
He sent me a clip of Addicted to That Rush, and he was going, listen to that bass tone. Oh, my God. And I sent him the photo of my Attitude Limited 2 on the wall. I said, so you don't want me to tell you how much I got that for? He said, oh, did you get some endorsement deal with Yamaha? I went, no, I bought it off eBay. He said, oh, I don't know. I said, oh, well, you know, most recent version of the LTD3 went for, and I went, no, Limited 3 now is $4,000. I said, I bought this in 2010, so the LTD2s were still out. I said, but you won't believe it. And so I sent him the figure, and he said, I just fell over. I can't believe how cheap you got it. I said, and the daft thing is, it was a complete fluke. I said, literally, the other half and I were about to go to Sunday lunch with my in-laws. She was faffing about, so I was in my office. So I thought, I'll just have a quick look on eBay, as you do. And it said, this auction is about to end in like 4 minutes. And it was the Limited 2. And so I'm watching it and thinking, that's exceptionally low, that price. Someone's going to bid on it. And with 10 seconds to go, no one had gone any higher than the reserve price, or the price that the last bidder had put. And so I put in a price, and I managed to get it for an absolute steal.
Best way.
Yeah, I just sheer luck. And then I thought, well, it's going to cut, and there's going to be something wrong with it. Or the only thing that was wrong with it was one of the bridge saddles had seized. The bridge screws had rusted inside, which was a bit odd for a bass that actually really wasn't that old. But I'm guessing the guy before me maybe sweated a bit,
Probably
either on his hands or on his forearm, and the sweat has gone down into the screws and gunged it right up. I poured oil and WD-40 over that saddle. I couldn't get those screws to budge, so it was like, right, take it off, bin it. And I ordered another one from Yamaha, and it wasn't cheap. I think it was like 30 quid.
Not cheap.
For a saddle with the 2 screws, but you have to have the part. You that bridge is not standard bridge, and it was black. It's all black. I'm not even. It's not black chrome, is it? Is it black nickel? I don't know. Yeah. So you have to have that saddle, and it's kind of. It's not even like a barrel. It's not even like a barrel saddle, is it?
Actually, it is. It's a barrel saddle here.
And is yours an LTD too?
This is a 3.
Let me just check. I think it was different. Yeah, these aren't barrels. They're blocks. They're like square.
Yeah, these are the 3 has barrels. The 3's got barrels because that's what these are on this.
These have rectangles with like a pitted groove.
See, I can get this close. Trying to see. This is the
They clearly realised that people weren't happy about that if they had to. And if you can't get the screw out, you've either got to drill it out. And it was easier and cheaper to buy a saddle with screws in it than to buy separate screws.
Indeed.
So, such is life. Bill Clements, good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope everything's good with you.
Bill. Did I ever tell you a Bill Clements story?
No, but you can.
Okay.
As long as it's not. As long as it's not. What's the word?
Too adventurous?
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
As long as it's not It doesn't bring the channel into disrepute.
Oh, no worries there. No, no. We actually a couple of years ago, actually a few years ago now, we did a tag team play along at the NAM show with Martin
Okay.
Sims bases, with the infield bases.
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere I'll have to send it to you, but I believe I have a clip
Mm.
that you can see. Somebody had taken a video of it and got the two of us jamming along together on the I think it was the
Ah.
English Rose bass is what Martin made at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and I think I
Yeah.
had that. Bill had one of the other ones. I forget which one. I'll have to go back and look, but I'll send you a link to it so you can watch. We had a blast.
Cool.
Yeah.
Quite right too.
So that's my Bill Clemens story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
He's a demon on bass, that man.
Oh, yes.
So I should take the opportunity to thank all the new subscribers. Thank you for getting on the bus, following us on the journey. Hope you find some content on the channel that works for you. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares. And actually, yes, let me get the day right. Saturday, Sunday, Saturday into Sunday. The channel amassed the most views ever in its life for one single day. I think we hit something like 3,250. Never had that amount of views in a day. So
Beautiful.
thank you very much if you were watching the shorts and the other videos, of course. But I put up 2 shorts, which were remixes from the video from Thursday, which was the Queen gig vlog at Boysdale's back in February. I took 3 shorts out of that video, put them up, and they just flew. I don't know why. Something in the algorithm liked Boysdale's and the title of those songs, and the videos just went apoplectic. One of them took 2,000 views straight off the bat within about 2 hours. So thank you very much if you've been watching those videos and commenting and liking and sharing. Thank you.
Indeed.
Bill Clement says that's right. He'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, yeah. It's been years. They
There
had
you
a
go.
taco outside, had 15 different salsas to kick your fancy up as hard as you wanted to go. And we just kind of went to it.
Good for
Yes.
you. Good
Uh-huh.
for you. I'm just going to report on the Champions League football for those of a football interested persuasion. Aston Villa missed out on qualification for the Champions League semi-finals by a goal. They pulled it back and won the game 3-2, but PSG scoring 2 goals meant they had, on aggregate, 5-4. Likewise, at Borussia Dortmund, Dortmund have scored 3 goals tonight and beaten Barcelona 3-1. But unfortunately, letting Barcelona score that 1 goal, if they hadn't scored that, it would have been 4-3 on aggregate. But as it is, 5-3. So both Barcelona and PSG through to the semi-finals. The other 2 games are tomorrow, which is Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich. Arsenal are 3-0 up. Inter Milan are 2-1 up against Bayern Munich. So we'll see what happens. Here we are.
There you go.
Bill Clements saying Nashville, right?
Nope, that was
Two
LA.
got together. LA.
That was LA.
There you go, Bill. Some guy, he's just got some tacos. Good for you, sir.
Chow hard, yes, chow hard.
Very good. So what's coming up for you? What you got on this weekend? What's in the melting pot?
So I actually have an interesting weekend because I have 6 spots to play because I've been asked to do the Easter extravaganza.
Of course.
So I have to decide which one of the colored eggs to my left I want to use
Yeah.
for the adventure. So
Okay.
yeah,
Is
so
that 6 slots on one day or 6 slots over the whole weekend?
no, it's six slots across 2 days, so it's 3 and 3.
Okay.
Which is, normally I just do a 3 spot or a 1 spot, but this time it's a 2-day 6 spot.
Very good. Keeps you busy. Keeps your
Yeah.
hand in.
Well, keeps the fingers moving.
That's very true.
Yes.
Bill Clements, damn, it all blurs together.
After a while, it certainly does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying
I
to see
know that feeling.
if I can find the video or the picture snap. I'll send it to you, and you can have a look because
Mm.
it was quite entertaining to say the least. I just have to find it because it's been a moment.
I was going to tap into the collective knowledge actually. Let me just find. So some of you may have seen this post on the Status Basses and Guitars page on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hold on. I need to share that. Copy the link. Right, very good. So someone has the same T bass as me. So
Oh.
he's got one of the pre-production 4-string T basses, Racing Green, tortoiseshell scratch plate, and he was on that page on Facebook asking what do people think that bass is worth. So I messaged in there, I'm watching this because I've got one too, and then I messaged again. I think I did that yesterday. Yeah. So the last one I actually saw of the original, so there are 30 of these basses in that color with the plate. So there were 15 4-strings, 15 5-strings. That was it. At that point, that bass wasn't going into production. It was purely an anniversary build. And those basses were never for sale. They went to Trace Elliott's favorite artists, distributors, and resellers. So obviously, the Bass Centre got one, various other places in the UK got one, a lot of the artists got one. I have no idea how the guy that I bought my one from got his hands on it. And now you're getting people, okay, it's 30 years since these basses were made, so they've sort of passed hands and what have you. I don't know how this guy got his one. So I posted on there yesterday. The last one I saw sold was a 5-string one on ebay.com in the US, and it was around 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what did I put? It was in 2004, and it sold for around $2,200.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bear in mind, T-bass models generally, the older ones with the wooden necks before Rob reintroduced them in 2009 with graphite necks. The original production models don't tend to get more than about 900 to £1,000. But these 15 are the only 15, well, the only 30 4s and 5s in that color. And they're slightly different in terms of the build. Construction hardware is the same, but the actual contouring and the roundness of the bodies is different. My one of these played and sounded quite different to the kind of more slabby bodied production models. So without having seen one sold in the wild for 21 years, I have no concept of what these are going to be worth. Not at all. So if anyone out there has seen any up for sale since 2004, and we're not talking seafoam green ones, we're not talking blue, red, white, black, we're talking the racing green. If anyone has an inkling as to what they're worth, speak forth in ringing tones. It would be nice to, it would be good to know. Because when something like that hasn't been seen out in the wild and then limited numbers, it's very hard to put a value on them.
Very true.
A status collector you would hope would want one because they were the forerunner to all the other T bases that came out. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've not seen any go on State Eye, which is the Status sort of fans' own website in their buy and selling marketplace. I haven't seen any on Facebook. I haven't seen any on eBay. I have an alert set up on eBay that if a Trace Elliot Status T bass appears, I want to know about it. So, but the last one I saw was a 5, and it was around 2004. It might have been 2003. And it was some guy in America. I don't know how he got it. He must have bought it either from an artist or an American distributor that had received it from Trace Elliot. I don't know. I don't know.
Anything's possible.
Yeah,
Yep. Anything's possible.
they're very distinctive.
No question.
especially if you've got the tortoiseshell plate on the front and it hasn't buckled, because that's the second base. And so I've only ever seen two shown online, and both his and mine, the tortoiseshell plates are buckled.
Huh.
I've still got it down here. It's in a folder.
If it buckled, it means it was actually real tortoiseshell as opposed to, the other.
Exactly. Where have I put it? Down there. Oh, there they are. Oh, it's a big old bag. I'm going to get these out without causing complete pandemonium.
Pandemonium's way too much fun.
Yeah, but it makes a mess and everything falls over. Right. Well, I have a selection of plates here, actually. So there used to be a guy on eBay called Daz Bootman. And he used to literally make every scratch plate for every guitar and bass out there, and you could have it in any finish.
Nice.
Right, don't even know what that is. Ah, yes I do. Yes I do. Yes I do. Yes I do. What have we got in here? Brooks's collection of old scratch plates. So that was a plate I bought to go on Betsy. Nice white pearloid to go on Betsy, but it doesn't fit. Screw holes don't match up. And that will be the plate from the John Deacon Precision. Before it got all blinged up. So it was a white plate, black body. Good start.
Yes, indeed.
Let's have a look. Going through Brooks's goodies here. What's that? Oh, goodness. That's a load of promo shots. You ain't seen those.
Go, come on now. Come on.
No, they're not coming out. Not at all.
Is that when you had the Tony Franklin, the firm hair and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, probably. That's some more. What the hell's that? Oh God, yeah. All my promo shots from 2002.
Okay, let's have a go.
No. That's another time. That's for comedy. That's for comedy half hour. That.
Oh well,
These just might be. Oh no, it's more. God. Oh, I remember why. Yes, because they were done. Basically, my partner worked for Fujifilm, and I had loads and loads of different types of film. So they had to produce. When they got developed, they got put into separate envelopes. That's right. What the hell is that? Oh, something to do with Roach. Oh, I know. Yes, I ordered a load of Roachford stuff, and they came with some additional bits and bobs. Right, here we go. Big old. We're talking big. What's this? Oh, this might be. I might never even use this. I don't think. If it's what I think it is. It's not what I thought it was. So when I used to play in a Green, helps if you're on camera.
Right.
So when I used to play in a Green Day tribute band, so the Mike Dirnt bass was originally vintage white, and the bass is still the same color. It came with a white plate. I think I've sold that. So then I had to get the black plate because that's what he had on his white one. But I haven't been in a Green Day band for 16 years. So now it's got like a bluey black pearloid plate, which works really well, but I'm not getting it out the crack because I'll bash a load of guitars if I try and do that. So that's that one. Again, that came from the guy on eBay, Daz Bootman. Before everything all falls off.
Oh, you're going to have a go on the Book of Face again because I just tagged you up in that I spot.
Double check. So then I think this is the other Stingray plate. So I ordered the abalone plate that I've got on my Stingray, which looks great. But at the same time, no, that was the original black plate that was on the aqua teal Stingray. Stop banging the microphone, you dip. Right. And I think further down there is the other plate I ordered, which has never even been on the base. I need to pull this out, aren't I? It's going to cause a problem with the envelope. 2007, blimey. Yeah. See if I can do this without causing immense amounts of grief. So there's a black, come on, Stingray, and it's changed colour. It's gone like there's an element of green in it which wasn't there before. It was a bit more blue black, but anyway, it's a Stingray plate.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that another plate in there? I can't remember ordering another one. Oh, there is something else. Here we go. Tea-base plate.
There it is.
Look at the warp.
Oh, yeah. Look how thin it is. It's only single ply, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's why.
Mm-hmm. So if you put that on, it's all buckled. It doesn't even lie flat on the base. It just sort of goes curved over.
Yep.
It doesn't look blatantly obvious, but it is.
You can kind of see it. There it is. Yep.
See how it's going down on that edge.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't lie flat on the body, and that's why the back plate curls up at the ends as well. Great. And I think that's all the plates. I don't... what's that? I don't think there's anything else. All the other spare plates I had are sold. Yeah, that's the lot. There we go.
Okay.
Nice black plush. Get some of this stuff up on sale. Shift it. There we go. It is 10:15 here in London town, here in UK. This is live chat 109 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. You're very welcome. You got any questions about bass guitars, bass amps, bass effects, bass strings, accessories, all of that, fire away. Stick your comments and questions in the live chat box and press send, and it'll appear here, and then we can respond to it. Right, you sent me something, didn't you?
I tagged you up on the Book of Face.
Oh, you've tagged me, right?
Yep. So I found the video.
It's getting there. Is this you and Bill, is it?
That's me and Bill.
Excellent. Right, let's copy that link.
Yep, the English Rose was the bass that I was using. Martin had it all set up with LEDs and all. Yes.
Does Chris Squire play a Squire? No. No, that's just wishful thinking. And even if he did, it would still sound fabulous.
Yes, it would.
So I can't, or can I? I'm trying to think if there's a way I can share that. Yes, there is, but it won't have sound on it, so it'll be a bit redundant. Okay, let me see if I can expand the window. Right, okay, yes I can. Right, so I can share this. Just bear with me a moment, gents, and we'll just roll that back a little bit. There we are. Right, let me just share the page.
I have to remember what year this was, because that part I don't actually remember. Let me see if I have a date stamp. Oh, yeah, 2016.
Here we go.
Yep.
You won't be able to hear it.
You want it off?
Oh, leave it off.
I don't think you can hear that, can you? Can you hear it? You can hear it through the StreamYard. Oh, okay. Someone's out of tune. Go, Bill. Exactly like Walter.
Thanks again, everybody. Thank you. Thanks our friends from the UK for showing up too.
There you go.
And there you have it.
Good work, sir. Both of you. Lovely jubbly.
We have our little Mark King going on.
Just a little.
Just a wee bit.
Just a bit. Yeah, that's good. It's good.
We were just, that
Shows
was
you what can be done.
nothing but improv because all he said was, here, go.
Mm.
That's what we did.
I'm trying to think if there's something I can show. There is, but I could get hit with copyright. You see, that's the concern.
Right.
Your thing was great because there's no vocal on it.
That's right. There's no melody.
That's
It's the whole time.
I'm just having a look. Is there anything I've got? No, I think we'd get. Ah, yes, there is. Yes, there is. Of course, there is. Stupid. Well, what was I saying? What was I thinking? Okay. Well, here's a little thing. Some of you may or may not know of a young gentleman by the name of Cody Wright.
Oh, yes.
So he was at the London bass show. Ooh, actually, he did a couple. I think this was 20. Oh, I could be wrong. 2017, I think this was. And he said, "Oh, have you got one of your basses with you?" Because he'd seen my page. And I said, "Yeah, I've got my Status Empathy upstairs." He said, "Oh, where is it? Where is it?" I said, "Oh, it's upstairs in the review room. Do you want to come and have a play?" So I sat him down with I think it's a 112 Aguilar and a tone hammer. And this is him doing his thing. So let me share this. No, that's the fella. Now I'm hoping you can hear it. So can you hear that? Yeah, that was
There
that.
you go.
But he's lovely. He's great. Shame we don't do the bass shows because he used to come over for, I think he came over for quite a few of them. And yeah, lovely to hang with, lovely guy, really lovely guy. I do have some bits here, actually. Now I've got to be careful which bits I click on because if I get the wrong bit, we're going to get hit with copyright. And that ain't the plan, man.
Not today.
Let me see. I've got actually got a load of footage of me with the Oasis band doing some of the O2 academies, but again,
First vocal
with copyright strike. Yeah. There's a bit here I can show you, so I'll try not to. Right, let me stop screen sharing. I'll get it to a point that we're all right. There we go. I can try and share this. It might work or it might not. Right, I need to come out of there. So this is a little clip of me with my old covers band with Steve and Pete and special guest Andy Marshall for the evening, playing at the Roadhouse in Covent Garden. So this is being recorded on what was then a very new iPhone. It was like second generation iPhone. They'd only been out 2 years, maybe max. And this guy had got it that like the same day, and he wanted to see how it recorded. And he was stood right next to us, right where the PA was. So the bass end is a little abhorrent in places. But anyway, let me see if this translates or not. Yeah, you got it. If I do... Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Oh, right. Okay, right. Yeah, you get that. Okay. Right. Let's fire away. See how we go. There we go.
Nice.
Hidden gems, mate. Hidden gems.
Okay. I up the game a little for you again. Look in your book of face message and read the comments. Well, yes.
Time for some old Mike pics with the big hair. Me?
You, yes. Since I can do that, you can do you.
Oh, that's you. Right. Sorry, I thought you meant me. And I'm looking at it going, I don't recognise that drummer.
No.
Wowzers. Look, there we go. Well, that's a lovely looking bass. Frankly, you should never have got rid of it.
That was a 1987 Stingray.
Good Lord.
That had come to me that way, but it originally was silver.
Right. I like the pink.
Show the lovely lads that one.
That is good. Shit.
What this will say is this is not just everything has to be Mark King. Look at that.
No, quite. That's a lovely looking. I'd be up for that.
It weighed about 7
kilos.
Pounds.
Ah,
super light. Super light.
Did it have the cameo tone going on?
It did.
Excellent.
I could have done word up, nothing to it.
Why'd you get rid of it?
You know, I don't honestly remember. I've had so many guitars. It just was...
See, I'd have been keeping that. That would have had that. Yeah, I could do. Yeah. I like that fin. Yeah, I'm up for that. Maple neck Stingray. You got me hook, line, and sinker. That's yeah. Very good.
I mean, that's just that was the pink bass that started it all before the Maestro with the Thumb and Wembley and all.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't want that again. Hold on. Right, so that's that. I'm just whizzing through. What else we got here? Hey, yay, some thunder, and there's some. Yeah, I've got some Marcus Miller here from the Royal Festival Hall, November 2014. And this is when he had he had his band, and he was just about to release an album called Aphrodisia, and he had another band with him from Senegal playing along with his band. It was really good, really good. I'm going to share this because this is great. I hope the sound is good. I saw some other messages there. I will come to you shortly. Let me just see if this will. I think it will. We want that, don't we? Right. This one of Marcus's tracks live. Two bass players. There's another video that goes here. There we go. Right, so there is another video. So let me.
Cool.
It should be right next to it. It is. There we go. This is in with the other bass player as well. And that was the end of that. It stopped very abruptly.
Quickly, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing what you find in your Facebook feed.
Hmm.
Oh, no, we've done that. Now, I do have a bit of it. So if people want to see this, I'll put it up. If they don't, then fair enough. So I've got Mark King and Larry Graham at Jazz Cafe 2015. So they did it in 2013. They did it then in 2015.
King base.
So let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let me quickly rattle through these messages. Patrick, you sent me a picture of your infield. Fabulous. I'll put that up shortly. John Cooper, Jamie and all, you just finished a hot, sweaty band rehearsal. You're going to keep you company on the 50-mile drive home. First time out with the Jazz for set 2. Excellent. Fabulous stuff.
Perfect.
Richard Fitton Perkins, sounds good, John. I use my American Performer Mustang. Sorry, I'm losing the track here. For set 1 of our live tribute show on Saturday for the first time. Excellent stuff. Bill Clements, that was a busy year for you. Richard, Mike, I'm going up to Wakefield on Thursday to look at a nice DIY build Jazz with roasted Mexican Fender neck. It's got EMG active pickups like your Betsy copy, but one is marked EMG X and one is EMG only. There is a difference. Jamie, do you know what the difference is between those?
The X and the EMG. The EMG only should be more like the traditional. The X is slightly tweaked.
I think it's. I think the X has got a higher bite on the top end, like a higher frequency, like a sweeter spot, less brittle. Have I seen this before on EMG sets? Absolutely. They come out with different models all the time. If you go on EMG's site, I think there's like a historical list of all the pickups they've produced. You'll see what I mean.
Yep.
So it's hard to always know. If you see EMGs, that doesn't mean they're necessarily EMGs from the 80s or the 90s or 2000s. They tweak them constantly. Bill Clements, was that a fretless with LEDs? No, it wasn't a fretless, it was fretted. That was my Status Empathy. Just plain fretted. Ollie, yes, I want to see Mark King and Larry Graham. Very good. Right, let's get on with that then, shall we?
Get on with that. I sent you something as well that I haven't seen since actually the day the photo was taken.
Okay.
I popped it to you because I think you'll know exactly when you see it.
Okay. Right, we'll do the Mark King, Larry Graham thing. Thang first. Here we go. It's 7 minutes long, all right.
All right.
For slap. Put teeth in again. You slap fans will love it. Right, here we go. Can you hear that? Go around again. There we are. I was there. And I saw them do that in 2013 for 2 nights, and then Larry came back in 2015, and Mark was there again. And actually, Mark was stood next to me for about 5 minutes, and we were sort of nattering away, and it was like, oh no, I've got to go. And so he had to go around the other side of the top floor, and Larry sort of comes and gets changed while the band do something. He gets changed, and then he leads Mark back down, and that was the start of that clip. So
gotta love that.
Yeah. So Gareth's gone. Bill Clements has gone. You sent me some messages on Facebook. Just bear me a minute.
I did one for fun and one I haven't seen
right,
for.
This was the first pick. Right. Okay. Seal of approval. Oh, Mr. Sheehan, of course. Nick's sim. Oh, yes. Lovely.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
Nice. Yes.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that photo since that was taken, I think.
Wow.
Yep.
Very nice.
Our
Very
old
nice
mate.
indeed.
I have to send that one to Allie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if
I'll
you come over for the show, play that. Oh. Yeah. Well,
I kind of have my eyes on this play this blue thing, you know.
Well, you can play both, can't you?
I sure could. Indeed, I can.
You can do both.
Right, so you can do magic.
That's right. That's it. I'm just seeing if there's anything else here in loads of dog stuff. Just bear me. Loads of Young Gun, Silver Fox, some Toto. See, all of this has got vocal on it, so
right.
I can't really do much with it.
without getting in good nick, right? And bad.
Well, yeah, and I just don't want that. So we walk very gingerly around copyright as much as possible.
Yeah.
Here we go. Patrick's Enfield. Oh, hold on there. We're just going to have a little look at this.
Enfield.
Right, I need to open that. What's that? 2024. Is it that? It is. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Yes, nice piece of work that. Hold on. I'll come back. I'll share the screen. Yeah. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Can't really zoom in too much more, sadly. Because that's the nature of vertical shot. Very nice, Patrick. Yes.
Definitely.
Still, I'd like to see a mid. Have you got mid EQ on there, or is it just bass and treble? With a Glockenklang, I'm guessing, which is not my preferred preamp on that. Richard, the best MK sound is the early King bass with the trace rigger used at the Oxford Town Hall gig in 2001. I'll see your early King bass with a trace rig, and I will raise you a Status Matrix 1990 Hammersmith and the precluding warm-up shows. So I got to see Mark and Level 42 at Cardiff Uni on the 1st of December 1990, which was the first show with Holdsworth, first time we'd heard any of the Guaranteed material. And it was the first time I'd seen a Matrix at the Bass Centre, but I hadn't played it. Mark was using a Matrix, 2 Alembics, and the 5-string Empathy. And that Matrix knocked me on my can. It was so, like, punch in your face. And then when I saw it again at Hammersmith later on that tour, it was amazing. The Matrix was outstanding. And actually, for me, if you listen to the Capital Radio or even the full gig recording, there's a link in the bass collection video on my channel where I link through to the guy that's got a whole recording of that show. The Matrix is just, it blows everything away that's kind of preceded it. And I still think that's a better tone than the King bass. That's just my opinion, for what it's worth. If he'd carried on using that Matrix and they'd progressed that, and Rob had turned that into a 3-band EQ, because what came after that was the Empathy, and the Empathy EQ is nowhere. It's not even in the same realms as the Matrix. Whether that's the mids getting involved or not, I don't know. But the Matrix circuit is an absolute beast. It really is. It's a power. Take the hair off your head. It's like literally someone just putting a blade across the top of your head. Just crazy. Have you owned a Matrix, Richard? Do you have one? I've got one here. I've used it on a gig recently. Needs a little tweaking in the setup department, but I'll get there. It may even end up going back to Status for a bit of a circuit checkup, check-up as well. Patrick, bass and treble EQ and a Glock preamp. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, Martin was really into the Glock preamps for sure.
Yeah, I think some of that was the fact was the economics of it. I think he was able to buy a bulk order of them, so it made sense. The one I had that was in the English Rose that I took with me to Israel, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the Glock preamp. But it, again, personal preference. But I had asked him, can I have something with a 3-band EQ? The first bass he gave me didn't. It just had bass and treble. I took it on 2 club gigs before we went. And I remember ringing him up. I'm flying in 2 days. I can't take this bass. It just is totally lost in the mix, or in my band's mix, which again shows you can have an amazing, expensive guitar, but depending on how your band is EQ'd and how everyone deals with the frequencies and where their instrumentation is, totally dictates whether the bass signal works or it doesn't.
That's true.
So there I am with a £2,500 bass, and I couldn't hear it. And how do I EQ this thing to sit? There was no mid presence. As soon as he gave me an English Rose with a mid EQ on it, it sat perfectly, didn't it?
Well, the English Rose was kind of unique unto itself. Do you remember seeing the one that he made? It was white and he had the eye across the front of it.
Yeah, it's the Prince
design. The
design.
Prince bass, right? The Prince bass.
Yeah. Prince had that on a Lakeland. He might have had it on a Warwick as well. Can't remember. He definitely had it on a Lakeland.
Yeah. I remember playing that one. That was interesting. Quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. That bass was actually up for sale at the gallery not so long ago.
Not surprising.
Bought it. Yeah. Didn't hang around too long. I'm just trying to see your message, Richard. If your bass doesn't make the ground shake, you need to turn it up. Sometimes it's not a case of turning up, it's just re-EQing. I've had that where I've thought I haven't got any more headroom to play with on the bass, and then it's just a case of re-EQing. So sometimes just drop back a bit on the bottom end and boost your low mids, and then you've got power without huge deafening rumble, and that for me usually is a little better, and sometimes take a little bit of the treble away, and that gives you more headroom in that kind of frequency space. I'm trying to see. Oh, Richard, you're sending it to me, right? Okay, hasn't appeared in the inbox there yet.
Does Martin Sims still sell those pickups?
Yeah, yep. Still buy the pickups. You can still get the LED stuff, but he's not making the bases.
Right, I remember
Unless
that.
it says on his website he's not doing the pickups, but I thought he was.
It was kind of funny because when I was doing all this with him, he had done up a left-handed model that was almost
Right.
like the Blink 182 bass in
Oh yeah.
lefty, and he painted it in striking pink. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Have a go on that one." I'm like, "Flip the strings over." I can play it upside down.
Here we go. Sims custom LED, but that might not show me. Yeah, the first opening thing, simscustom.com. Sims Super Quad pickups.
So he's still doing the pickups. Good. Okay.
So it says.
Yeah, because it said something about going back and just working on the pickups and the LEDs and kind
Yeah.
of calling it a day, if you will, on making up guitars.
I don't think the bases were cost effective.
Right.
I'm clicking on this and there's nothing else. So that's obviously that might just be a page in a script. Right. Let's do a better search. Okay, this looks a little more promising.
Mm-hmm.
Pickups, yes. Here.
Excellent. Okay.
About yeah, and then you've got you can go and buy them.
Good deal. Okay.
Classic 4 from 195 quid, or the Classic 5 from 210.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
All right.
What's this?
I
Pre-owned.
saw you lying about here. That's why I wondered.
Okay. I'm actually on this page and I'm clicking on all the links. There's nothing going through. Then we get to Glockenklang preamps, and that is going through. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Enfield, nothing. Eminence, no. Elites. Oh, okay. He's got strings hat then. So it's pickup, strings, hardware, routing jigs. And then we go into switches, looms, pots, capacitors, circuitry. So there's some stuff on there.
Right. So he's still got all the bits and bobs. He just doesn't have the Enfields anymore.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody ever grabbed that pink one. It was a lefty, but I mean, it literally was a jazz body with just the one pickup in the middle.
Mm.
I got a picture of it somewhere.
Okay. I've got your pictures, Richard. Let me just save these. Okie dokes. Yeah. Yeah. One more. Done. Right. There we go. Right, so I can share this up. There we go. Very nice. Super duper.
There we go.
That. You had a pupil. You had a pupil who had one in red matrix. We're talking. Always sounded good. Patrick, I think Martin, as you say, just sells the LEDs and pickups. I do know his daughter Shannon sings with you. Yeah. Ask her to send her best. Again.
Hello.
Ask her to send my best to her dad when you next see her. Richard, I owned the prototype black Enfield Lionheart up until a couple of years ago. Okay, cool. Let me.
I've got some Shannon pictures somewhere.
Yeah.
Because we did all that at NAMM show. She was along for
Of
the ride.
course.
The Currys with us, actually.
Quite right too.
Yep.
So this is a King Bass 2 for those who are unaware. That's young Richard's.
Oh yeah.
5 string as well. That's a big old girl.
Mm.
Yeah. Lively, I think, would be the best description for that bass. Lively. And then there's number 3, which is that one. There we go. Very nice. It's too classic. Well done, sir. Lovely collection.
Indeed.
Right, it is coming up to 11 o'clock. I'm going to start winding this in. We will do this again next Tuesday. We'll be here same time, same place. Lively or utterly ballistic. Yeah, that's a good description. Those single coils are very lively, put it that way. Yes, so thank you very much to everyone who's joined in tonight. Thank you for the fabulous conversation, as always. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, new subscribers, more content going up this week. There will be Gig Vlog 5s going up tomorrow. Probably a few more things before the weekend as well, because basically I've got nothing to do between now and the weekend, so I can get some more content up. There'll be a couple of reviews incoming as well. Might be this week, might be start next week. We'll see. John Cooper, good night from the M25. You drive safely, sir. Dawson, thank you very much. Ollie, been great. Superb. Richard, thank you for sharing your photos. Patrick, as always, Stacey, Steffi, all you fine people. Thank you very much. I will speak to you through the week, young man. No doubt.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. And catch you next Tuesday. So say good night.
Cheerio. Good night, all. Nice to see you all.
Off. And that's it. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for everyone who's got involved. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week. If you've got any gigs coming up, enjoy your bass playing. If you need to get a hold of me, brooks'sbasscorner@gmail.com, or you can get me on social media or via the comments and community section here on YouTube. Like I say, new content up tomorrow and over the next couple of days. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. So take care. Have a fabulous week. Look after yourselves. If you're traveling anywhere, be careful. Easter weekend coming up. There's going to be idiots on the road. There's going to be people who are drunk. Drive carefully. Take it easy. Look after yourselves. I'll see you here again next week, next Tuesday at 8 o'clock UK time. See you next week. Take it easy.